Thanks for joining us for Ask the Author. I'm Donna Tilley, National Education Consultant for PCI Education, and with me today is Jill Haney, author of Environmental Print Series. We're going to be talking about the Environmental Print Series, and one of the first questions I'd like to ask you, Jill, is why did PCI develop the Environmental Print Series?
Well, PCI really wanted to have a program for students with moderate to severe intellectual disabilities that allowed them to learn the language arts standards that are expected of all students, but in a way that was developmentally appropriate and that allowed them all to participate and learn at their own pace.
It sounds like it's a program that will really help meet those students' needs. I have learned from talking about this program that it's very easy to implement. Can you elaborate?
Certainly. We wanted to create the Environmental Print Series so that whether you were a teacher or a paraprofessional or an adult volunteer such as a parent, that you could really implement the program with fidelity and with as much ease as possible. So we created lesson plans that are completely scripted, that are easy to follow for every day of the unit, and each lesson plan has things that is very clear what the facilitator says, what we would expect the student to say. It gives prompts and it gives ideas for what to do next. So it makes it easy for this program to be implemented with fidelity by anyone.
Excellent. I know teachers like things that are easy these days. Language arts concepts can be very difficult to teach to all students. How did PCI approach teaching language arts concepts to students with intellectual disabilities?
Okay, that's a great question. I'm a parent of a child with intellectual disabilities, and it's very important to me as a parent that my son have opportunity to learn the same language arts standards that my daughter, who's in regular education, learns each day in her first grade classroom. So we went straight to the standards, the regular standards, and looked at things like main character, setting, main idea, that every student is responsible for learning, and said we can do this for students with intellectual disabilities too, we just have to scaffold it. So the way we approached it, and you can see this from one of the pages in the teacher's guide, is that while we focus in units 1 and 2 on main character, and we use that actual language such as main character and teach the students to identify, then in unit 3 we add the next standard, character traits, but we still keep going over main character. And what you'll see as you move down through this chart is that with each new skill that we add, we never stop practicing the skills they've already learned, but we've added another skill at a rate that allows them to have success and continue to learn and add language arts standards.
So it sounds like there's a high degree of repetition involved in that as well.
Absolutely.
Very good. The program also, I guess I understand, one of the unique features of the program is that it was developed for both students who are verbal and nonverbal. Tell us more about how that works with the Environmental Print Series.
That's absolutely correct. So many of our students with moderate to intensive intellectual disabilities are nonverbal, as well as we have some students who are verbal, and so we wanted this to have access to all of those students. So within the lesson plans that we've already talked about today, for example, every single question has a suggested verbal and a suggested nonverbal answer, so that the students have an option about how they can approach the question, and then to help the teacher even further, we've included manipulatives that allow students who are nonverbal to communicate. These include things such as our response board, where the students can select yes, no, or I don't know to some of the questions in the program, and our picture response cards, where we can present a question such as who is the main character by showing pictures of 2 different characters and allowing a student who's nonverbal to select the correct answer and therefore show us that they understand and have that knowledge.
And if the student uses a voice output device, are there tips or suggestions for the teacher how to program that device?
Absolutely. In the teacher's guide, we have several pages where we talk about additional adaptations and modifications and ways to include things such as switches in the instructional day.
Well, I know the environmental print series sounds like a wonderful curriculum, and I'm really looking forward to exploring it further. For more information, visit our website at www.pcieducation.com/EPSS.